Warm greetings to one and all present in the session. Today, we are lucky to have with us Acharya Prashant sir, who has been kind enough to accept our invitation for the second time. Thank you, sir. Acharya Prashant sir needs no introduction. From being an acclaimed Vedanta exegete to a national best-selling author of over 100 books, he is a powerful voice of social spiritual awakening in today's world. Today, tens of millions of people, especially the youth, get inspired daily by Acharya Prashant sir. Through his direct contact with people and through various online channels, he continues to bring clarity to all. Sir, it's an honor to welcome you to address as law students of DU. On behalf of all of us, we thank you for accepting our invitation.
I welcome everybody in the session and hope we'll have a warm, open, direct interaction.
Sir, my question is very blatant. My question is, what is your opinion about astrology? Because a large chunk of people with a rational attitude, with even rational mindset, they also believe in astrology. Do you believe in it personally? If yes, why? And why not? If no, why not?
Why must one give importance to believing in the first place? Do we live in the Stone Age? Why do we need to rely upon belief? Today, is it sensible at all to rely on belief when you can assess, evaluate, check, validate? Why do you need to talk of beliefs? Since you have asked it directly, so here is the point blank answer. Anybody who believes in astrology cannot be a rational person.
Yes, sir. Of course.
Let there be a thesis, let there be a set of propositions that are available to examination, and then I'll be very happy to accept the conclusions that astrologers, etc., propound. First of all, there has to be a set of principles, verifiable principles. A narrative cannot be termed as a science. I come up with a story and I say this story is science. No, the story is not science. Science is based on verifiable and falsifiable experiments. Show me that it works. Display it right in front of me. And I'll be very happy to accept. And nothing can ever be displayed in this field. All you have is a set of beliefs. Belief that this thing will happen. Why to believe it? Because, some person has been talking of these things, so you too should believe. If you don't believe, maybe you will meet some harm. So it's safer for you that you just believe. There is no sense in this. There is just fear and insecurity. I have nothing against things that emerge freshly and invalidate the pre-existing knowledge. But there has to be authenticity, right? There has to be verifiability. And an experiment should hold demonstrative value. if you conduct an experiment 2 times under the same conditions, the result must be the same. These are some basic prerequisites, right? Before you can call anything as science. Else, how do you term it as science? Take the basic Newton's laws of motion. By the Newton's laws, if I pick this thing up, right, and I drop it from here, it should take a certain time hitting this table. And if I start at 0 velocity, it should attain a certain velocity as it hits the table. And those laws are expressed in basic equations such as the final velocity will be equal to the initial velocity plus gravity times the time elapsed. V is equal to U plus AT. You can calculate the time taken. If I do it 100 times, the result will be the same, assuming that this is a vacuum, assuming there is no air resistance. I may perform this experiment with objects of any shape, any size. The result will be the same, assuming there is no air drag. Now demonstrate that to me in astrology and I'll be very happy to accept it as a science. Else, it's a myth. It's a bundle of unverified beliefs. And in that, we all are entitled to believe as we want. Nobody will jail you for your beliefs. You want to believe in something, you can continue to believe in it. But don't term it as logical or rational or scientific. There is no logic, there is just story. You may love a story. Fine, that's your subjective choice, but don't call it a science. It's a story. And quite an entertaining story. Also quite a profit-yielding story. If I look at the size of the astrology industry today and the number of astrology apps that are available on Play Stores, etc. So it's a story that is making big money for a lot of storytellers. Fine. It's between them and their clients. If the clients choose to pay just to hear stories, who am I to object? And I'm not trying to offend the religious feelings of people. All I am saying is, whatsoever is postulated there is just that, a postulate. You are supposing something, you are positing something. It is not available to verification. And since it is not available to verification, to me it is a story.
Sir, I am following up with that. Sir, merely rejecting something as a fact of pseudo-science. But sir, if someone is believing a different side of pseudo-science, and the other party is believing a different philosophy of pseudo-science, so aren't both are on the same page? Like okay, if like I'm not a passionate believer of astrology, and I also think it's a myth, but I believe some different pseudo-science. So aren't both are on the same page?
Obviously.
And also spirituality is also not scientific. So sir, how come as a propagator of spirituality, one must look into science.
Spirituality is not supposed to be scientific. What is spirituality? What is the very definition of spirituality? Tell me, please.
Sir, spirituality starts from the beginning. It says that it is not related to science.
What is the definition of spirituality? You are defining spirituality with respect to science. You are saying spirituality is that which is not science. I'm saying, what is spirituality? Give me a positive definition.
Sir, spirituality, right now I am not, I'm not aware.
Then how did you make the claim that spirituality is not scientific if you don't know about spirituality?
But sir, how can spirituality be scientific?
So what is spirituality? What are we talking of? I'm not claiming spirituality is scientific. I'm asking you, you are using a term, spirituality. What is that term about?
sir, as of now, currently, I may not have the exact idea of what is the positive definition of spirituality is.
So please listen, please understand. The definitions are very clear and mutually exclusive. Science is the study of the objects. Spirituality is the study of the subject. Full stop. So, looking for science in spirituality is as weird as looking for spirituality in science. Do you ever go to science and confront it and ask, why are you not spiritual? Science is not supposed to be spiritual because science is the study of objects, the objective world, the material universe. That's what science is supposed to study. So science is not supposed to be spiritual. Same way, spirituality is supposed to study the subject. Who is the subject? Who is the subject? You are the subject. Science is not supposed to study you, the one who says I. Spirituality studies that. So before you use words like pseudo-science and all, also think of using words like pseudo-spirituality. Science is pseudo-spirituality. How does that sound? Absurd. Equally absurd is to say that spirituality is pseudo-science. And we say all these things because we don't know the basic definitions. And yet we are too eager to talk with confidence.
No, sir, nothing like that. How can I be confident in front of you? Sir, I don't mean to offend.
Do you think you can?
No, sir, of course not, sir. You are taking me, sir, otherwise.
This is called confidence.
Sir, I am glad if you think so. An honor to talk to you like that.
It's not about smart quips. It's about seeing that at the center of the mind is sitting someone who just believes and is insecure about the beliefs. When you ask the question that just as it is unscientific to believe in spirituality, how is it not unscientific to believe in spirituality? Do you see what you were very confident of? Please tell me objectively. Your question was, sir, you just demolished astrology. Right? So astrology is pseudoscientific. But then how can one kind of pseudoscience be superior to another kind of pseudoscience, and the other kind of pseudoscience is spirituality? So do you see what you were very confident about?
Sir, I was not confident. I was curious only.
I'm just quoting what you said. So you were confident that spirituality is?
pseudoscience. No, sir. Now I have a different view since I was only curious. That's why I asked.
Curiosity does not take assumptions as its foundation. To be curious is to not assume anything. And it's a huge assumption to begin with. And if you begin with that assumption, you will not always get somebody like me who has the time, the energy, and the care to challenge the very assumption. Right? If you base your entire thesis, your proposition on an assumption, mostly you will get what you began from. You will get somebody who either validates your assumption or somebody who invalidates your assumption. But very few people will come and tell you, son, all you have is an assumption. The question then becomes something like this. You meet someone and you ask him, so did you emerge from the jail today or yesterday? Is it curiosity or an allegation? You said you were just being curious, and very curiously I ask you, did you emerge from the jail today or yesterday? Is it curiosity or an allegation? Do you see the huge assumption involved here? What is the huge assumption? Be with me.
That you went to jail.
So the huge assumption that you had was spirituality is definitely a pseudoscience. And based on that assumption, then you raised another kind of curiosity. The curiosity was not whether spirituality is pseudoscience. The curiosity was, is one pseudoscience better than another pseudoscience? That was the curiosity. Similarly, my curiosity is, were you released from jail yesterday or today? Now, this curiosity is no good, because this curiosity, settled either way, does not challenge the assumption. The answer could be, yes, I was released yesterday. The answer could be, I was released today. In either case, what remains certain is that you indeed went to jail. And that assumption you are taking as a fact. That's where we all lose it.
Yes, sir. Correct.
So please avoid.